r/AskReddit. What did you dislike at first but ended up really liking? If you want to join my giveaway for $500, subscribe and you will be automatically entered. A lot of vegetables. My mother is not the greatest cook and it took years to realize veggies were delicious when seasoned and cooked properly. Beer. Going to the gym in the morning before work. Waking up an hour and a half earlier than normal. Doing cardio again. Would have said you were crazy if you told me I'd be doing it a few years ago. If you could bottle the feeling I have in the morning after going to the gym, you'd be a billionaire. My evenings are more open. I don't have to deal with traffic. I don't have to worry about a piece of equipment I want to use being tied up. Plus it forces me to have a healthy sleep schedule. Major game changer. Seltzer. I used to think it tasted like rotten soda and now I think soda tastes like rotten seltzer. Girls. Now I have a girlfriend. First I liked Minecraft, then started hating it because of all the small kids. Now I adore it since it is a great game. The show Parks and Recreation. Season 1 was only okay. The show became fantastic after that, especially after season 3. Mushrooms. My wife. Alcohol. I hated it for years but one day I found rum and now I have a very serious problem. Anal. Sushi. Asparagus. The Office US. First time watching the first season was bland L and took me months to get through, but after that I was in love with the show. Dark chocolate. I still like milk, but I prefer dark. Metal music. Trailer Park Boys. Took about 2 seasons to get properly into it, but now Sunnyvale feels like my second home. Anime. Music. Like I don't know how I lived without Crazy Noisy Bizarre Town. The Expanse. Took me 3 tries to make it to the 3rd episode. It's now my favorite show. Parks and Recreation. The first season of that show is pretty weak compared to the rest of the series. But I'm so glad I gave it another chance because it is one of my favorite shows. Naps. Reddit. Brats. I used to hate sausage in general because I didn't like the texture or taste, but after marrying my husband, he made me brats and it's my favorite thing now. To be fair though, I only like it when he makes it. Reddit is the first that popped in my head. It was around the time I was hearing a lot of chatter about borderline illegal art being posted around here. And I really did think this site was a cesspool of scum and degenerates. Then I got like 1000 upvotes for a seriously stupid post and I knew there were mostly lame yet mostly innocuous people just like me here. Musicals. You know how a lot of people like superheroes as kids? I hated them. I thought that most of their costumes looked stupid and was too immature to understand why everyone was beating each other up. But starting at age 14, I actually ended up being a big fan of Marvel for a while. I don't really keep up with their movies anymore, but I can say with certainty that I still like most of the ones that I have seen. My favorite murder podcast. I love stories being told to me by 2 sassy clever funny ladies now, but my goodness their voices got on my nerves for the first few episodes. Sorry Karen and Georgia. College. My first month there was rough. But now I would literally give everything I own to be back in college. Mad Men. I watched the first episode a few years ago and took a hard pass on it. Terrible people making terrible choices. And just being jerks to each other? No thanks. Then I started it up not too long ago from a friend's recommendation to give it another go. And I'm on S6 now. Harry Potter. Used to genuinely terrify me, but I just so happened to look up when there was dragons in Goth or Voldemort was doing his thing or something 8-year-old me would find scary. Now though, I can't get enough. Kiwi and fish. Not combined though. Ice cream. Coffee. I just hated the taste of coffee and I could not believe that people loved it so much. I tried it a few times and then I got addicted to it. I saw that it had a negative effect on me, so I quit drinking it. Pretty much anything feminine. I'm a guy. I used to hate skirts, dresses, jewelry, and makeup and thought girls would be better off putting no effort into how they look. Also, not really feminine, but hair dyed unnatural colors, though I think girls can more easily pull this off than boys. Now I kinda wish I was born a girl, because I'll never look as good in women's clothing as in actual women. And I've tried. I like seeing my female friends' outfits, and I'll often compliment them on it or their makeup or jewelry, particularly eyeshadow and earrings. I also really like dyed hair. So much that I find it more attractive than natural colors, as long as it suits the girl. Being choked. The new Tool album. Seltzer. Hated it. Then once accidentally got it when the soda machine didn't have any syrup in it and ended up loving it a few years later. Reddit and jazz. I always thought Reddit was for lame losers, but I really found it to be fun and interesting when I made my account. Same thing with jazz. Synthwave. People. Pride and Prejudice, book not the movie. Sour Patch Kids. The first few time I tried them I couldn't stand how sour they were. Got some for Easter a few years later and ended up loving them. Now I eat them all the time. Running and weightlifting. I don't think anyone loves that from the get-go. The film Clueless. My sister tried to force that film on me for years when I was never girly. Years later I got it and it's pretty awesome. Pink Floyd. Game of Thrones. Surprisingly enough Queen. Other men. Country music. Hated it with a passion for years and years. One day a country song came on the radio that I found myself liking. Gave it a chance and ended up really liking it. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Dr. Pepper. Downton Abbey. It's so odd that I give a shit about it, haha. Tender in my pho. It is delicious but the texture takes a while to get used to. Cooking. I used to think of it as such a chore until I figured out there was no law stating I had to follow a recipe exactly. I learned that I could play around with different flavors and textures and it became much more enjoyable. I'm not a pro by any means, but I love to get into the kitchen and cook up a good meal now. Note: this does not work with baking. Do not experiment with baking. My body. Screaming in music. Pop. When I was in JR and high school, I absolutely hated yogurt. That went on being the case until my early 30s and me wanting to do something about my digestive situation. Yoplait made a banana creme pie yogurt and an apple pie turnover yogurt that I thought would be not too yogurt y, and every day for a month I had one. Killed two birds with one stone. I fixed my digestive situation and now I love yogurt. Double win. Ed SP. Myself. I've hated myself for years. It's only been recent that I have decided to start accepting who I am and loving myself a bit more. Chandler Bing on Friends. The show Voltron. Vegetables. And video my brother showed me. Music. Absolutely despised it as a kid, not as a teen. Since that's what I am now, lol. I couldn't stand everyone thinking of it as great and thought it was such a waste of time. And here I am now. Gee god, my past self would hate to see what I'd become. My current job. Salad. Growing up, salad consisted of giant chunks of bitter iceberg lettuce, a couple pieces of tasteless tomato, and many large chunks of red onion. My family would then smother that in ranch dressing. I hated salad for years and hated ranch for years. My salads now have a dark baby green mix, with spinach and all that stuff. Cherry tomatoes. Mushrooms. Baby corn. Radish. Broccoli. Cubed cheese and a nice vinegar and oil based dressing. Myself. Like and subscribe if you want to.